The Presidential Task Force to review legal and regulatory framework guiding religious organizations have had a successful roundtable discussions with clergies in the UK. This task force was necessitated by the Shakahola killings.
Please pray for President William Ruto. This task force is his. We will do our job, I promise you, and you have brought a lot of clarity in a very succinct way. Regulations through umbrella bodies, supervision through a commission on behalf of government. That it couldn't be clearer.
The task force included UK as a consultative place of study on how religion is regulated and therefore invited bishops and pastors to share their experiences on registration and running their churches in the UK and also give recommendations on what framework can work in Kenya.
Today, as clergy and also as community leaders, we know exactly what is happening in Kenya. We know exactly what is happening in Shakahola. And our prayer, we don't want to see the same recurrence again. But, and I'm saying but, for us to be able to stop the whole thing, there are areas we need to reconsider.
Safeguarding, compliance, extremism, church resources, ethical studies, and governing frameworks were among recommendations discussed.
So as a church, you have to report when there is something that has happened in the organization that was outside of your required regulation. So if there's theft of money, if there's an abuse, so as a minister, if I discover there's an issue of abuse in my church, I cannot deal with it internally. I have to involve an internal entity. There is no objectivity when you are personally involved in an issue. And so those are some of the safeguards that ensure that the church body is able to meet what is the required standard.
There are notable challenges of UK type of system adaptation in Kenya due to culture, politics, corruption, among others. The present government will have to consult comprehensively and make the law crystal clear with the knowledge that it will be a mountain to climb to convince Kenyans on the intent of such regulations.
Because right now, the way things are, even Shakahola, let me say this, Bona Chair, Shakahola, even the way things are moving, we might find that those people will not get their justice because there's no framework.
The good thing I love with the Western world, despite so many sins or issues they have, if an issue happens, this, just like Doctor said there, somebody takes responsibility and the heads roll. Unfortunately, black African country, and that includes my country, Kenya, even with the men of the cloth, nobody takes responsibility, unfortunately.
If the Registrar General declined to issue more registration to some churches, why then do we hear that there are churches which are coming up? That's why I said mushrooming. Where do they come from? Who registers them?
We start holding people to account. We are not just going to focus on the churches, because I'm a bit mindful that we don't just focus on the churches, Bishop Wambogo, because this is bigger. When we talk of modern slavery, we look at all the shops, everybody. So it's not just about the churches. Otherwise, if we just focus on the churches, it's going to be pear-shaped.
I have heard you concerned about how seriously is this going to be taken by the government of Kenya. And this concern has also come from our people. They have told us that there are many reports that have been done by many task forces before us. Is this going to see the light of day? I can tell you without fear of contradiction, it will, because the time has come. And so this was an eye-opener, and I believe that the president is very committed to ensuring that Shakahola never happens again in our lifetimes.
Most of us have turned amazing because of the moral compass that was instilled in us by our religion. But the trend of religion abuse epitome has been experienced by the Shakahola killings. Most Kenyans still now cannot comprehend the extremism and doctrine abuse of the Shakahola killings.
The Kenya has no state religion, but Kenyans are religious. And if Kenyans are religious, it is God who has meant us to be what we are. And so we can see that religious mindset, that strength, that godliness in you. So what do we say?
One thing that I would like to say is that this sounds like a very, very, very productive meeting. However, I am a bit concerned. We've had so many consultative meetings, we've had so many committees formed through the government, but the implementation bit is what I'm concerned about, because this was very healthy. If only it can be adopted in Kenya, really we would not be having all these issues. So I would really like to see, especially you, the media people, push to see that this is implemented, so that we have not just been sitting here wasting time. There is a lot that can be adopted, and it's not asking for too much. There are just a few things that need to be tweaked within the system. So that was very healthy discussions. People came out freely.
One of the things is about integrity, because all this covers under integrity, and that's why we are also encouraging our Christians back home to have that, and also the check and balances, because that is the beauty part of it. When I was home, I didn't know how charity works on this side, although in our Presbyterian church we have that, but other Pentecostals we are seeing we lack that.
What we have done is is a process. We have met you people, we have met great and wonderful pastors here. We have met wonderful pastors here, and especially religious people, our Kenyan style. We have met the indigenous people here. But now after this, we put information together. Those that have not given us information, please reach them. Let them send us in writing, in WhatsApp, that message. We collect all of that information, put it together. And as we have a retreat from next week, we'll be able to put something and consider all those information. But in summary, we have got great and rich information from the people who live in UK. They love their country, and we are just excited that they have been able to do that.
Task force, because some people might not understand what the task force is all about.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain a little bit what the task force is all about.
So in May of 2023, the President of Kenya set up a task force. It is known as the Task Force on the Review of the Legal, Regulatory and Governance Sector regarding religious bodies, and the intention was for us to identify whether there are gaps that allow for the practice of religious extremism. And if we identified such gaps, then we were mandated to make proposals, even make proposals on the laws that need to be amended, so that our people can be protected from extremism.
Mine is just to thank Kenyans in diaspora in the UK and the kind of rich information they've been able to give us, especially in terms of the legal and regulatory structure, issues of governance. I think this will go an extra mile in helping us come up with a very clear report on how to regulate and also supervise churches.
Like today, what we have done is to show the task force about the precedents which are in the UK, and if they could be able to absorb them in our system back home, I'm sure we are going to work according to the UK standards.
We would like to pass another round of thanks to the people in the UK, in the diaspora, for the energy that they have put in. It was evident from what we heard from them that they have had meetings, long meetings, some of them up to 5 hours. They have agreed, disagreed, but in the end they were able to present a paper that will protect and help their motherland get better.
Viewers, you've heard, you know that home is where our heart is, and we love Kenya. Diaspora can never stop talking about Kenya any other day. And for the government to include that in such a big task force, we feel included even in part of what is going to happen in Kenya. The changes that we want have started to happen. So get involved, go and look out, what does the president want the diaspora to do? How can you get involved even with the task force and pass your voice? Because even wherever you go, you want to know that whatever you put forward as a seed will come running back to you and your generations. Janet Wenena, UKN TV, London.